Yahweh, I'd like to talk to you about your report that you handed in last Friday about what you did over the last millennium. I believe you titled it Genesis.
Yeah? What about it?
Now, did you really flood the entire world exactly as it says in your Genesis report?
Of course. Exactly as I wrote it, it happened.
Yahweh, have you ever read the Epic of Gilgamesh?
No. Why?
Well, hundreds of years before you wrote Genesis, some of the older gods wrote a school play called The Epic of Gilgamesh. And in their story, the gods got upset with mankind, so they decided to flood the entire world, same as you. But before they did, one of the gods warned a very righteous man to build a boat to save himself and his family and all the animals. Sound familiar? The righteous man complained about it, same as your story, but eventually agreed. The boat had specific dimensions with many compartments inside, one door, at least one window, and the outside of it was coated in pitch, same as your story. Now, the entire world was flooded with a deluge, and the boat finally came to rest on a mountain approximately 300 miles from the mountain in your story. The righteous man released birds to find land, including a dove, a raven, same as your story. And after they did, the righteous man sacrificed animals and was then blessed, same as your story. A promise is even made to never flood the world again. Now, Yahweh, their story was written way before your story. Are you going to tell me your wet and wild Genesis tale wasn't lifted directly from them? Now, let's hear it. What's your defense?
No.
Yahweh, this story isn't even worth stealing. It's rife with all kinds of logistical problems. It's not even a practical way for an omnipotent being to behave, let alone a supposedly benevolent one.
Well, how do you know they didn't steal it?
Well, in fact, they did. They got in trouble for stealing that story from some of the other students who came before them.
Really?
Yes, indeed. And even those students stole it from some of the other students before them. So you see, it's very old. Way older than your story.
So, how do you know it didn't really happen?
Well, it most likely did happen.
Really?
Yes, but not like in your Genesis account. It was most likely a local flood that happened on the floodplain of the Tigris and Euphrates. Some farmer probably became a local legend after saving his family and a bunch of his animals. The story became a tradition and was told over and over again and embellished and romanticized and embellished some more until other cultures inherited it, as cultures tend to do with such stories, and then finally it landed in your lap. Now, the geological record clearly indicates that all the floods of the world happened at different times, and that there was never any one time when water covered the entire earth.
It's metaphorical.
A metaphor for what, exactly?
It's a lesson to not mess with me or I'll destroy everything.
In your story, you promised to never do it again.
It teaches people to trust in my plan.
In your story, you regretted making man in the first place, and your flood solution fails and evil persists anyway.
Okay, can I make a few edits?
Afraid not. You already turned it in.